Today I want to talk about using an LLM-as-Judge to evaluate your LLM results. So the best way to evaluate your LLM results is to have a human that's an expert in whatever you're trying to have the LLM do, evaluate the results. So if it's a writing task, having a writer evaluate it. If it's some kind of case law task, you have a lawyer evaluate it. But that's not always feasible, and it's not very scalable. So the best way to evaluate your LLM is with another LLM. Typically, when you're doing LLM-as-Judge, you want to use pretty much the most powerful LLM you have access to actually do the judge, or the eval. And you are typically having it score and provide some kind of numeric value and maybe a reasoning for why it gave it that value. This could be a simple yes or no, or it could be some number between 0 and 1, some kind of decimal point number based on how good the answer is. And the way it works is you just feed in the prompt, the result, you give it all the information, and then the LLM-as-Judge will do the eval to give you that score back. This is really useful over time to make sure that you don't have drift as you're shipping more changes. There's kind of two methods for how you want to collect these metrics. You typically want to have some kind of test data set that you run on any major change. This can usually run in a CI pipeline. That's the best way to do it, so you can measure if anything goes down significantly. One of the things to note is that because an LLM is non-deterministic, you could run the same eval suite and not get the same number. So sometimes it's nice to run it multiple times or have multiple test cases that cover similar things. The other thing you should be doing with your test cases or with your evals is running it on production data. So you shouldn't just run it in CI. You should also be using a sample of your production data running against these evals and using an LLM-as-Judge to determine if there are some edge cases that maybe should be added to your test set in your CI that are not. So if you want to improve your LLM results, I highly recommend doing some research on using an LLM-as-Judge, figuring out what metrics it would be effective at checking, building a test data set, wiring up your CI, and I do think that you'll be able to ship changes to your prompts and your AI applications much more confidently.